5 steps you can build your photography portfolio in 2026. Hi guys, I am Cara Bikini, a wedding and portrait photographer here in Philadelphia, and today we're going to talk a little bit about how you can build your photography portfolio. If you're starting out with photography, you don't have a portfolio, this is an important step for you to do it. The portfolio is gonna help you decide what field of photography, what area of photography you would like to focus on. As you're starting out, you actually don't have to decide it, what you want to do, because that might change it a lot over time, but it's very important that you explore the fields and explore the areas in photography to figure out what resonates and what connects more with you. For the first step, I would recommend you to start looking at areas of photography, studying a little bit about types of photography that connects more with you. It's like architecture, fashion, publicity photography, commercial photography, nature photography, wildlife photography, landscaping photography, food photography that kind of connects with commercial photography most of the time, wedding photography, event photography. There's so many, like family photography, so many fields that you can choose from. I probably do not list all of them here, but those are some of them. Maybe you just want to focus on portrait photography. So this is an important step for you to, when you're going to start out. So because the fields, also sport photography, I forgot to mention, I think is one of the hardest fields to work on because there's a lot of movement, but you have to start building your portfolio in something you feel comfortable first, because photography is hard, but you're gonna start feeling more comfortable in some areas than others. I would recommend it for you to do not feel that overwhelmed, to start photographing things that are more static, that doesn't have that much movement. But I also recommend it for you to explore all of the options, because that's what's going to help you to decide what you wanted to do for real when you are like ready. Like, I am ready to work with this is what I want for my life. And having the experience to work with in all these different fields, it's going to help you choose better. So I would say that your portfolio is going to be in the beginning a little bit of a mix of everything, because people will reach out to you eventually in the future and asking like, oh, do you do this or do you do that? And in some point, you're going to tell them, I do this, I do that. I don't do this and I don't do that, because you already have you know what you want, So it's important for you to know what you wanted to do. That said, that is very important for you to decide what field of photography do you want it to go. I mentioned earlier that it's important for you also choose the field that you feel more comfortable first. If you are a beginner, have no idea, I recommend you start photographing like things you have more control, like architecture, landscaping, nature, people, animals, sports, commercial, those things that takes more from you. I would say for you to keep it on the second field. Once you manage those static photography, then you go to the next step, which is photographing more of movement. But it's also interesting because if you decided to go straight to photograph sports, you will learn with your mistakes, right? So there's no problem also starting with something you already have in mind that you want. For example, you know that, I love sports and this is what I wanted to do no matter what. Skip everything else and just go what you wanted to do. My experience, for example, I first had on my mind that I wanted to be a traveler photographer and travel the world for photographing like landscaping and wildlife photography. That's what I wanted to do and still wanted to do, but life took me to other ways. And today, most of the time, I photograph people in event weddings and stuff like that, and a lot of family photography. So since I started, most of my portfolio was photographing people, and I ended up becoming a portrait photographer. So yeah, I feel like people are a very interesting subject to photograph because you can kind of sense like people's personality. There's like a lot of things that I like it a lot to photograph. Why the reason why I like to photograph people a lot, events as well, like weddings and families and all the milestones that include on that. But yeah, I'm still loving the idea of becoming a traveler photographer, a wildlife photographer. Never thought about becoming a sport photographer, for example, because that's not something that like connects with me that much. So I would say that you will feel like which one is the one for you. Once you know what you want to photograph, it's time to find the opportunities for you to photograph. So you can make posts on the community's Facebook or the Facebook groups or your family and friends and just tell people, hey, would you like to be able to be model, or if you want to do like landscaping or just nature photography, just go outside and bring your camera with you and start taking pictures. For other areas like fashion, there is some groups that are called TFP. So models really need portfolio, so they're always like able to, you know, work with you. And yeah, you guys can talk about creating like a styled shoot or something like that together. Maybe invite makeup artists and, you know, just do a collab kind of thing. And yeah, it's just fun. So those are like the three ones that I think about. So if you want to go to nature, architecture, and wildlife, just go outside, photograph animals and nature and plants and flowers and trees and everything around. For people like family, or just ask for a few people if they are able to help you out. Fashion, TFP, reach out to models, or even like influencers. They always need photographs, so that's a way to do it. But like commercial photography, usually people that are in commercial photography, they usually need like professional photography. So I don't know how people could reach out to do that, but you may know someone that is just starting their business and they need some professional photography, so why not to offer them for free? And yeah, and then you can start with those. One point on once you are photographing, once you are in photographing photography, I would also say that if you feel comfortable enough to charge for your photos, you can do like pay as much as you want. So this is one way for you to do, you know. But I truly believe that in the beginning, you should not get paid for those jobs. First, because they're not a job. You're practicing photography, so you're gonna do a lot of mistakes. And second is because once you get paid, I feel like it takes a lot from the connection between you creating as a creator. I think I'm putting this wrong, but what I mean to say is that like from my experience, when I started getting paid for my jobs, I felt like a lot of pressure to deliver the best work at all, you know, when I wasn't ready. I thought I was ready, but I actually wasn't, because on the long term, I look back at my photos and was like, I was getting paid for this. But yeah, and this is not wrong. You can start getting paid even if your work is not good, because I feel like people are very nice in terms of like recompensating when someone is just starting out. It's not wrong to get paid, but I feel like you might feel pressure and you just want to get the job done because someone is paying you for it, when you actually are out there just photographing for fun. Is just a totally different experience. I noticed that a lot because it was so much more fun when I was doing like TFP, like photographing for fun, for fashion, or no one was like paying me for this job. I had so much fun. But when I was photographing for someone to hire me for it, I was stressed out, especially when it's starting out, you know. There is all the concerns about camera, lighting, settings, everything. So you have to think about all that stuff and still deliver a good job. So kindly, I would say that if you have time, if you don't need the money, just do it for free and have fun, and as it is just starting out. The third step is more like a friendly reminder. Don't be afraid to make mistakes. So there's a lot that going on in learning photography. As I say, it's not easy, but we're out here learning, right? I'm still learning. And I think important is that you keep it in mind that it's okay to make mistakes. And not once you get paid, that's the problem. When you do not get paid, it's okay to make mistakes and you are allowed to get it wrong because you're not getting paid for it, you know? So even if you ask someone to photograph their wedding, they probably should have you photographing their wedding and another photographer for real, but inviting you to photograph their wedding for just for practice. You can make as many mistakes as you want because you were there for practice. It doesn't matter if it works or not. So if you don't think that work is good and you decided I'm just gonna delete all these photos, you can. But if you are the only photographer on that event, you can do that, and that's the pressure that goes on you. So it's okay to make mistakes when you are learning, you know. Keep that in mind and don't be too hard on yourself and don't be too critic when on your photographies you see a progress. I highly recommend for you to keep your whole photography progress like on the folder. I still have my photos since like 2013, 2020, like 2012. I started actually in 2012. I ended my graduation in 2014 and I still have all my progress. And it's just nice to look back and see, you know, all those projects that I worked on before. Yeah, make mistakes. Fourth step, study photographers you admire and learn what makes their work stand out. I have a list of photographers that I love their work and I kind of like envisioning myself getting to their level of experience, which is probably those are very experienced photographers with like 40-50 years of photography. And another thing I also do is to visit a lot of galleries, like photo galleries and exhibits. Also museums is very inspiring. So this will help you to be more in contact with photography as art, and you can apply all the compositions and all the photography rules into your own work. Last but not least, create your website or the platform that you want to show your portfolio. There's tons of them, and since you're not getting paid yet, you should choose one that is for free, right? There's a lot of platforms that allows you to host your photos there for free, and then when you start making money, you can choose a better package. I listed a few of them here, but I also can talk about for the ones that I have experienced. So my list includes the really free ones. You should have an Instagram and I would say a Facebook page also. And beside those, there are just like, you know, for social media, a website is also important. So there is WordPress, Wix, Behance, Squarespace, SmugMug, Zenfolio, Shootproof, Format, which is a new one that I heard about, but they're new, I guess. Flickr, Pixieset, which I do have a 20% discount if you wanted to go for this one. I love Pixieset because they just do not have, their platform is built for photographers, so you can also have your galleries, deliver galleries for your clients there, and your website, and they also have the CRM, which is for client relationship management, and a few other. They have like a shopping also, so if you decided to sell your prints, you can do that there as well. So I have a 20% discount for you if you would like. I'm gonna put the link in the description below and you can just try it and see what happens. I had experience also with Squarespace. I tried them before, but yeah, then decided to switch to Pixieset. I've never tried Wix. I think WordPress is one more if you would like to have a blog. They're very famous for that. And another one that I had too was Flickr, but I never, I uploaded a few photos there, but it just do not work for me. But yeah, there's tons of them and you can just go through them and decide which one is best for you. I would say that it's very important for you, even if you are not gonna pay right now, just look at the packages and see what they offer you for one big reason. Once you start uploading your photos, you're gonna have a lot of work doing that, especially if you are like applying SEO on your website. And for you to stop using one platform to go to another one, you will have to redo everything you did before. So it's very important for you to decide right now which platform would you like to host your website, just because the transition from one to another can be a little complicated. So yeah, I think there's tons of them, so just look it up and see which one fits best for you. And we are at the end. Guys, thank you so much for watching. I hope all those tips and recommendations was helpful to you. If you like this video, please subscribe and like the video and share with your friends that are also starting photography. I am really excited about this channel. This is my second video and there's more coming, so stay tuned. I will come back with more. Bye.